Hey, hope everyone's doing well. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you're at in the world and what time you're watching this video. I'm here to discuss all the things that I learned in traveling that school will never teach you. First, we're going to be talking about being uncomfortable. Now, in school, I feel like we're not taught to challenge things, to be uncomfortable, to embrace moments that may be considered awkward, things of that nature, right? We just go with the status quo, study for this test, go do this, go do that, etc. It's normal to feel uncomfortable. I'm here to let you know this, right? So you're going to travel to places, you're going to do your research, you're going to watch videos, you're going to see people like me who go here, you're going to watch our vlogs, you're going to read articles, right? And you be like, hey, I want to go to Spain, I want to go to Jamaica, I want to go to this. Let me go type in, do some research. But at the end of the day, it's only a matter of time before there's moments where things become uncomfortable. The more you travel, the more people you meet, the more your vision is challenged, the more that you are going to accept being uncomfortable. There's nothing wrong with being uncomfortable. In fact, you actually start to learn to embrace it because discomfort is going to come very often when you travel. There's always going to be moments where things are lost in language exchange. Maybe there's misunderstandings. Okay, I anticipated this. This YouTuber told me this, but I see this. There's going to be those moments. You just got to embrace them and use it as a learning lesson, right? I've had many moments where I was uncomfortable, right? I may walk into a room when I first started traveling and I don't understand what anyone's saying. My first solo country was Spain, and I went there for 6 months. I actually did no research, which I don't recommend y'all do, but I didn't do any research when I went to Spain. So I went to Spain. I was about 19 years old or so. I lived there for 6 months for like a school program. Lived with a Spanish family who I had never met. Went to a university that I didn't know anything about the university until I got there. And went to a foreign country where I didn't know anyone who had ever been there. I'm gonna be honest with you, part of it was me being naive, because looking back at it, now as an older person, I would have not did it that way. But I was 19, I was naive. I just like, oh, Spain, why not, right? I'm still gonna get college credit, yeah, I'll do it. And it's about the same price as my regular university. But I had many moments of uncomfort, right? There's many moments where I'm trying to explain myself to someone, they're misunderstanding me, or vice versa. Which brings me to my next point. There are going to be moments of misunderstanding when you're traveling, even if you speak the language. So I took a little Spanish in high school, took like 2 semesters in college before I went abroad. But here's the thing. The Spanish that they teach you in school is typically not the Spanish that people speak in the street. So just how in America, right, we may learn the English language, but once you get outside of school, people are talking differently. Hey, what's up? You good? What's going on? Right? You don't learn that type of vernacular when you're in school. No, they teach you, hey, how are you? What did you do today? Right? So you got to learn to rephrase your words. You got to learn that certain words are cut up. There's certain words, certain phrases that there's slang, right? So you got to relearn all that, right? But I'm here to tell you, it's not going to be bad. Embrace the bad moment, the quote unquote bad moments, because it's really going to be a learning lesson. It's really going to be, oh, I feel a lot better now. I feel more comfortable. I feel more confident, etc. Which is another point that I would like to bring up. The more you travel, the more experiences you have, the more confident you will be, because you're forced to. And another thing is, if for my viewers in America, once you start traveling to other countries, especially African countries, European countries, etc., you'll see that the average person your age has more confidence. So I remember going abroad, I'm like, yo, they got way more confidence than the average 19-year-old American, right? 20-year-old American. And then I started going to other countries, and I seen the same thing, Brazil, right? You go to all these foreign countries, you be like, hold on, they're way more mature. Like when you talk to someone who's 19 over there, it may feel like you're talking to a 25-year-old American. They're more mature, more confident, and that's going to rub off on you, right? It's going to change your worldview, because in America, we're typically taught how to see things from a certain point of view. Now, I do have audience from other parts of the world, and it's going to be a learning experience for you as far as what goes on in the typical American schools, how typical Americans interact in the lessons they exchange. So in America, I'm not saying this is right, but I'm just saying this is my observation as someone who spent majority of his life in America and who's also born in America. We are typically taught that we had a number one mentality, we do things the best, we're superior, we know everything, etc. You're gonna quickly realize, like, that mentality is not gonna get you far in life. And not only is it not gonna get you far, but it's not true. There's certain things that other cultures do that is way more superior than us. Going back to the Spain example, when they wash their clothes, they have these type of washers where it cleans it in a way where it's not greatly wrinkling the clothes, and then they hang dry their clothes. So one, it's saving power because you don't have a washer and a dryer. And I understand not every household in Spain is the same, before someone says that in the comment section. But typically, the typical Spanish house, you have the washer and you have the dryer. I'm sorry, you have the washer and you won't have the dryer. So you wash and then you hang dry the clothes, and they do it in a way where not only does it dry, but it does it where there's no wrinkles, right? You see the wrinkles I got in my shirt right now? That's because I used a dryer. I didn't use the Spain hang dry method. So I say that to say this. We're going to learn that, hey, as Americans, we don't do things the best. Hey, as people from the UK, we don't do things the best. Hey, as people from Australia, wherever country you're watching from, there's going to be learning lessons. Each culture values different things, and each culture, from my observation, may have a different relationship with finances. I actually say one of my expressions, one of my phrases is, if you diversify your friend group, if you diversify your travel, you would diversify your sources of income. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at things from a financial point of view, different cultures will have a different relationship with money. So, for example, in typical American culture, we're taught to be consumers. We are one of only 2 countries in the world that solicits medicine on the television. So everything is a commercial. You turn on the TV, you like, oh, let me watch my favorite show, right? Show comes on, commercial break. I mean, even in that show, there's some commercials if you catch it. But commercial break, and then what happens right next? Commercial for Toyota, commercial for Honda, commercial for Pepsi, commercial for medicine to make you lose weight. Donald Trump just announced that, hey, he thinks Tylenol may cause autism. But guess what? There's still going to be headache medicines on commercials, right? Everything is like a consumerist mentality when it comes out here, right? And you go to other countries and you see like, wait, okay, they may push certain things, but not as much as Americans. Which brings me to another point. You will observe in certain countries and cultures that money does not buy happiness. Going back to the consumer example in America, it is somewhat brainwashing us from a young age to say happiness is a fast car, a big house, a high salary, and some nice clothes, right? Once you start traveling, you'll see that, hey, this mentality may be exclusive to only certain countries. Now, different countries may not have the same financial opportunities as other countries. It's changing with the internet now, thankfully. But there's certain countries that have more financial opportunities than others, right? However, it's pushed so much to the point where you may think that this is happiness. Oh, I'm successful. I got a nice credit score. Oh, I got a nice lot of money. I'm fine. I'm good. And then you go and you may even start to feel bad because you'll see like little 14-year-old children maybe in a small village in a foreign country. They're happy, but they don't have much, right? So you may feel a little bad like, I got all this success and this person's struggling. But at the same time, you look and observe and be like, okay, this person has less financially, but they have more on the fulfillment side, on the happiness side. How can I actually learn from this person, right? There's certain countries that I know they're treating me a certain way because I'm American. I'm being straight up with you. It's not because I'm super attractive. It's not because they love my personality and I'm just a great person. No, I'm American. So they're going to treat me a certain way because of my perceived financial status. But that financial status is not to be manipulated, right? So I would say, hey, learn from these people. How come you see these young people over here who have less than me, but they're more happy? I need to actually draw some inspiration from them. I need to shed some light on them. I need to speak to them, etc. These are the type of things that you will not learn in school. They don't teach you this. I'm not going to argue as to why they don't teach you this at this particular moment. I want you to come up with your own observation, your own commentary, and make sure you leave it down below in the comment section. And I have been replying to every comment and every message I got on Instagram. I have not left anybody genuine unread that I'm aware of. And if for whatever reason maybe your message got sent to the junk folder or whatever, let me know. Sometimes I know there's a filtering system, but I've been replying to every comment, right? Another thing that they don't teach you in the school system, but you can learn while traveling, is how to be more healthier. A few years ago, I had a health scare. I was in the hospital, hooked up to machines, got all type of blood work, got this test, got this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what's going on? Got x-rays, got all type of things. They try to figure out what's wrong with me. They eventually came with a medical condition, and they said, hey, what we strongly believe is causing this is diet and lifestyle. I was like, but I'm eating healthy. Eating healthy, I should be fine. Like, it took a little second for it to dawn on me, but then I started going back to my memory bank when I was in Turkey, when I was in Spain, when I was in this country, and I noticed, wait a second, I felt a lot better. And that's when I started doing research, and I found out the things that's being put in the American food. So they don't teach you this in school, that, hey, you shouldn't eat this because it has 17 different chemicals, or hey, you may not really be lactose intolerant. It's just what we put in our dairy that makes it hard to be tolerated. But then you go to Europe and you can eat it with no problem. I'm eating all types of sweets when I'm in Turkey. I'm eating a green apple. I'm like, this tastes like candy. I never had an apple taste like this, right? It's because of what's put in the food. So one thing that they don't teach you is how to truly be healthy, right? How to eat health as for wealth. They're gonna, when you go to the typical American high school lunchroom, you're gonna see milk chocolate, which has poison in the dairy, and it has added sugar. Why are you adding sugar to dairy? You're gonna see some cheese, maybe some French fries, stuff like that. If they do give you an orange juice or apple juice, it's not gonna be a natural one. It's gonna be one with corn syrup and added sugars and this and that. And I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just being honest, right? Then you go to other countries, you're like, man, my skin's more clear, my hair's longer, I can think better, I'm sleeping better, I got more energy, I feel more fulfilled. It's the food. They don't teach you this. But y'all have an amazing day. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, leave it down below, or message me on Instagram and or TikTok. Same username, PayMeInPaella. PayMeInPaella. Y'all have a nice day. Peace.